Hey, George. What's going on?
Hey, not much. All right. Welcome to the virtual brown bag meeting. This is our weekly, just the open meeting for any developer to jump in. We talk about developer stuff, show and tell, ask questions, and so on. Just a reminder, we are live streaming it to YouTube. So, share secret work stuff or state secrets. That's it. So, hey guys.
Hey, what's up?
Updation.
Oh, I think your internet is crap, George.
George.
Want to take a look at this? He was mentioning he ran through it. It's a cross-site scripting game, and so I guess we go through this and learn a little bit about cross-site scripting. He said he's run through it, but he's sort of an expert, and so I was going to be guided through it by him.
Oh, awesome. I took a look at it when it was posted, and then I never.
Yeah, I didn't click through it because I was like, are they going to cross-site script me? All right, so let me add them. Let's try this out. Level 1. All right. So cross-site scripting obviously is when like people gather inputs and data from one site and give it to another. Right? I guess we need George here because he's more of an expert.
So it's in my opinion, it's like when basically you give someone a link, right? That inside of the link is basically some JavaScript that then supposedly looks like it's taking you to Google, but in fact is actually like executing some JavaScript or something.
Hey guys.
So it's basically like when someone's trying to get you to click a link that has a bunch of like a hidden payload in it, but it looks like it's from Google, but if you actually look at the super long string inside of it is a bunch of other malicious stuff that you don't want.
What are we talking about?
Sorry,
I got dropped.
JB asked to pin down the definition of cross-site scripting. I feel like it's like the idea of it is super simple, and there's a lot of explanations I've seen that make it seem like more complicated than it is, or at least don't explain like actually how it looks in the wild, which is super basic.
So yeah, I find it also it's easy to describe to an example. The easiest example that I've been able to like possibly convey onto people is you make a little comment form, a little guest book form where everyone can post on there, and then everyone can see the comments that everyone else posted, and then someone goes on there and submits as a comment script alert, you've been hacked, close script. What happens when everyone views that comment? It runs it in their browser. And that's it. Like it doesn't have, you don't need links. You don't need to go do anything across sites. It's a little bit of a misnomer in that way. I think a more realistic, a more concrete definition is when someone can inject code into a website that hijacks the trust that the user gives to that website to code that the website did not intend to have.
What if I gave you just a link with like it was a google.com link is taking you to a form, and then inside of the link it was embedded like JavaScript. So that was the example that I was giving.
That could still be it, but
it's an example that I've seen before.
Yeah, and there's actually a part of this game that does something like that. The key is that it has to be something that the person whose website it is, the person who created that form, didn't intend for it to do.
Mm-hmm. But does the data have to be in a permanent state, right? Like, does it have to be a persistent? And like does that script that says alert you've been hacked, does it? No. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
No,
okay.
I mean, look, and this is what we'll encounter with one of these. If what your web page is doing is using JavaScript to grab part of the URL and put it on the page and say, this is where you are, Well, yes. Well, yes. Someone can mess around with the URL and send it to someone, and have the URL contain a script tag in it. And then when the JavaScript puts it on the page, then that script tag runs. So yeah, there's no permanent state there at all. But it's still, someone was intending it to just display the current URL you're at, and now you're injecting a script tag in there. Now, overall, that's not a problem. The real problem that happens, like, okay, so you go ahead and you create, you fill out your name on a website, right? Well, there is a admin panel somewhere where administrators can go in and view all the users of the web page. Well, what happens if you put a script tag as your name? What happens when an administrator views you, and what happens that when the script that it's running grabs their current authentication cookie and ships it off to another site?
That's a good example.
Yeah. So the administrator has, the administrator has trust that they give to that website, right? I trust you, website, as being secure, as maintaining my identity, as not sharing it with anyone else. And then you've managed to inject a script into that website that violates that, that basically hijacks that trust, right? It's the trust they put on the website. Now you're hijacking and putting it and using it for your own purposes, which in this case is to steal their auth. By the way, that is exactly what happened with a Steam hack recently. There was like a 13, 14-year-old kid that figured out there was no XSS protection when video games were submitted on their descriptions. What the descriptions are used by, what is the admin staff, when they review it, they can see the descriptions. So he just injected a thing in there that was grabbing their administrators' auth tokens, and then he could log in as an administrator and self-approve his own games. Yeah. It's a very powerful thing. I mean, you could do way nastier stuff than that, honestly. But it's powerful, and that's part of the reason why Google's doing this, and be like, no, we really want people to understand this. And
right.
Yeah.
And that basically means that, okay, so there's two ways, I mean, cross-site scripting, right? You've got the input, right? So every single input, especially if it's like a database situation, like needs to be sanitized. But then also, right, like there's a simple one that isn't actually like Google's fault necessarily, which is like you can append to the end of a URL something and then make it look like it's actually, but it'll actually execute JavaScript. And usually you can't do that much.
Yeah, I mean, that would have to be the server would first of all have to allow that, or you have to use hash URLs. And really, it would be the JavaScript on the page would have to be grabbing the URL and inserting it into the page at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
So someone would have to make a coding mistake for any of this.
Right. And I guess so you should sanitize your URL strings, your query strings, query parameters, I should say.
And really, I mean, the more underlying core thing is you have to understand cross-site scripting.
Okay.
It really is. Yeah.
Okay, let's play. I feel like.
Yeah, let's do this, baby.
All right. So, what do I do?
So here's a web page. It's a little virtual browser. The idea is you want to inject a script, they'll pop up any sort of alert. So if you look below, you can click target code and toggle it. Okay. And that is what the code looks like for,
Python.
Yeah, whatever. Doesn't really matter. If you look through it, it's basically just appending stuff. So basically you're going to click on that search box and fill it out in a way that will pop, that when submitted and run through the script will pop up an alert box.
Okay.
All right. So one good place to start would be maybe to look at how the query is handled, right? I mean, like honestly, you just click search and see what it does, right? So there you go. It goes off.
Okay.
Yeah, Yeah. So if you look at what it's handling, right, you've got our render string, it gets there. And so basically right there, if not self.request.get query. So basically it's checking the request get parameter for query.
Yeah.
Then if it doesn't exist, it's just rendering out header, markup, footer, which are strings up above, right?
Right.
Otherwise, it is going to set query to wait.
Well, then do you need to put, if it's doing this here?
Oh, wait. Ooh.
Oh, can I edit here? I'm supposed to edit
but,
this code.
I mean, yeah, it's not going to do anything editing it. Yeah. So yeah, the entire attack that we're doing is via the search box.
So would you put like script tags inside here? Would that make it run?
Yeah. Try putting alert in there. Alert foo, right? Alert.
Oh, I got it. Ooh, yeah. So you have to put the script tag in it.
Yeah, I didn't put the script tag at first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right. So you see that passes it. That would pop up alert box because what it would basically do is append that script tag to the page.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's level 1.
Increasingly clients on database layer display the users amount where user control data carefully. So this is the same thing here, like if I did script. Any idea?
Go for it.
No, that didn't work.
It didn't. So let's look at the code and see what it's doing. And yeah, and really, I think poststore.js is, well, let's see. So so there's a function that basically builds up all these HTML for JavaScript, and it puts it in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Your status.
DB save. What's DB save doing?
Yeah. Well, look at poststore.js.
Oh, I see. Now these are tabs.
So, yeah. So whatever, post DB. So when save is called, it's just doing that, and then it's calling the callback. So what callback is passed into there? It's probably well, that's a JS file. You're not going to have to look at the Python file for this.
Okay, unload. So db.clear display posts return false. On submit. Okay, document get ID post content dot value.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, so you're just looking for the display post function, which is up there. Yep. Okay, yeah, it's just dot inner HTML.
And then so you see on line 44, it's calling save, and afterwards it just calls display posts. And if you look through what display post does, I think it just redraws the screen using JavaScript, right?
Okay.
So and if you start doing research, you'll discover this. Here's what's happening. Why you submitting that doesn't work? It doesn't work because as a safety mechanism, if JavaScript places a script tag on the page, it will not execute.
So you can't actually construct a script tag with JavaScript, like embedding. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, wait a second. That's not true because I've heard of people injecting where they're the hack you ate. Oh, I guess it's usually with PHP or something.
Right. If the PHP or the Python in the earlier example constructs it and sends it out, as far as the browser concerned, that's a script tag that was meant to be there.
Gotcha.
However, if you use JavaScript to insert a script tag after the fact, it's no longer going to be. It's not going to be executed. It'll just be placed in the HTML of the page, and that's it.
So how do you get it in there then?
So you have to find other ways of running scripts.
Hey guys, I just joined the call here.
Hey Brad.
I want to introduce myself. I'm working in the Great White North up in Calgary here. So I just saw the link, didn't realize there was a brown bag kind of event that happened occasionally. So I figured I'd drop in and.
Yeah. This is our weekly kind of event, open to all developers. We just basically talk general developer stuff. In this case, we're working through this Google cross-site scripting game.
Yeah,
Well-
I think I did the first exercise of that, and then
Yeah.
was time
Cool.
constrained.
Then you're right on the same spot where JB and Seth are.
Yeah,
I'm kind of like I did it earlier, so I'm kind of guiding it, but trying not to guide it too much.
And it's a slight passion of yours or interest.
I mean, it should be of everyone's. It's
not
All right.
everyone's not a black hat, so
so the question is, okay, you can't inject a script tag. How else could you get JavaScript to run on a page?
Hold on, the date. There's a date object. Is that a clue? No.
Dude, I don't know, dude.
Right, so-
you know the tools and stuff like that. I don't.
So HTML has all sorts of ways to run JavaScript, right? Remember, we have.
You could do like on a button click event or something.
Well, yeah, you could put a button and on-click attribute on there, and then you would have to click the button.
Yeah.
I mean, you could try that,
But what's
That
your
might-
way?
but then someone would still have to click the button.
Right.
Or another way is you put a div and put like an on mouse over on there. So a quintessential one, I'll kind of give you, is to use an IMG tag.
And
Is
like
that-
when you can't load it, you can
Yeah,
like what event is that the event you're listening to? I forgot what it's called.
on error.
So is on air like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess we put the quotes here. And this will just execute the JavaScript, right?
Yeah, that's just JavaScript.
I didn't know that. How are you supposed to know that?
And put an SRC in there.
the only one.
Put an SRC of an image that doesn't.
Like, are there good reasons to do this ever? Like,
Hey,
it's
yeah.
weird that the spec even. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah. So try submitting that.
All right.
Wait, did it?
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it with the
Did-
same.
Did you make?
I think you
Oh, there.
did the closing.
No,
you
he got it. He got it. It just took.
Okay, do.
1 second.
Yeah. So, well, Seth, what were you asking? I mean, the reason why it's there.
Yeah, why?
Why are there attributes at all?
Well, I mean, image has. I guess you can. I mean, okay, so the HTML spec defines that you can have certain, like the image gets an on-air attribute.
Yeah.
Right, and that inside of that attribute you can execute JavaScript.
Right, because
Just-
maybe you want to remove the image then, or replace it with a different image.
I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah,
I know of it because I legitimately used it for things
Yeah.
where it's like the API might tell me that there's an image here, but there could not be an image. And if the image doesn't get loaded, then I want to load a default image.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what happens. All right.
All right.
All right.
Our execution syncs.
I don't know. That's not super helpful.
Any script that appears.
So click around this page and kind of see how it works. Right. So if you look at what it's doing, it's completely client-side routing, right? Everything is to the right of that hashtag, which means nothing's being sent to a server.
See what you're saying?
Yeah, so it's just using CSS and changing the active class.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And it's changing what image to use based on.
Yeah, it's using JavaScript though. It's not using
Yeah.
CSS.
Yeah.
What was it? Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's injecting the number from
That's
HTML.
true.
From parse
See-
int num.
Yeah, my CSS tabs technique would be impervious to this.
Okay.
All right.
So it's listening to an event, the switch between the two. It's like
Yeah,
so-
yeah. The message
think-
that's just communicating with the server. Yeah, it's all the choose tab stuff. And choose tab is called by, I think, a function that listens to.
So if I did something like 8, it would fail because then it's looking
Right.
for image 8.
Okay, so choose window dot onload choose tab self location hash substring equals 1. So
Well,
the choose tab function. Oh, okay, I see. So it's somewhere in the query string that you got to put it.
Right.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
this is basic SQL injection. Yeah. Exactly.
Like that.
Got it.
I'm still not getting it right because I was thinking like, wouldn't I need to escape these at all or something?
Right click on it and do inspect element. Right click on the image and do inspect.
Okay.
So that's what you have it looking like right now. And
So you just have to close off the image tag and then create a.
yeah, I mean you could do an onload or you could break the image tag. And
Would that even work? Yeah. Like, I don't need to escape it at all. Doesn't seem like you. And is it of my quotes, right?
you would need a space. After
I can't. We'll do single quote because if you look here, this guy's not a single quote; it's a double quote.
Well, first of all, you do need a space before on air.
Okay.
So you need that. And if you look there, so we've got on air, alert.
I'm thinking it's not liking my quotes.
Try single quoting, or
That's what I did.
Or try double. I guess switch it around.
So I remember I got stuck in this one too, and it was really dumb what the issue was. Like it something similar to what
HP Wizard.
So it's probably in the script that's generating this. It's probably using a single quote, doing for the appends.
Yeah, there you go. The source is using that's it. That's exactly what's going on. So this should not be double quote. This should be a single quote. Maybe. There we go. That's the ticket. Bam. We're already halfway through.
Yeah.
NSA, here we come.
That was a fun one.
Yeah. Everybody uses apply to see. Okay. Inject a script to pop up a JavaScript alert in this application.
Well, hold on. First, check what it does. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was about to see.
Sorry.
All right.
So it's probably all going to be in the
Timer HTML. Start timer. Back.
Oh, I see what it is.
What is how does this even work?
That's probably handlebars or something like that. So no, that's. Oh, is that a Python?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Python templates. Whatever.
Render template timer and provides.
Oh, okay. Yeah, provides time. Okay.
All right. Well, obvious things are going to jump out. You're going to have to give me. Either I'm going to click on the hints, or you're going to give me a hint.
Well,
Like,
I mean, there's only one place to modify, and if you look at it, there's only two injection points, right? There's an injection point on line 21 and an injection point on line 23, and
Right.
and both of those are based on the values are based on whatever you put into the input.
Right.
So it's a matter of messing with the input and seeing what happens.
I'm going to break it.
All right.
That's interesting. It doesn't. The timer doesn't matter what seconds it is because it's hard coded, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, parse. It tries parsing. If it fails, it gets 3. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But so that's yeah. So what happens if you put an IMG in there?
Is IMG or like a tag?
Yeah, well, the IMG tag, as we said before.
Just a string.
So with on air. So the reason why is the Python that is knocking things over is Python is probably most of these templating systems, they'll actually run some basic scripting XSS injection on them. So if you scroll down line 23, that's being scraped for XSS.
Right.
So that's not going to be our injection point. On line 21, that's one that's interesting because you're
Right.
injecting directly into JavaScript. So you're already in a JavaScript execution context then.
Right. But it's wrapped in quotes, I guess. I guess it's put directly. I could close those quotes or something.
Yeah, try it.
So the onload equals, like anything in there is in the JavaScript context. It's not a
Yeah.
string at that point. Okay.
Yeah, that's JavaScript that's going to start executing. It wouldn't be would it be a plus?
So you,
I'm assuming the string.
you could
I'm
just-
assuming string concatenation.
yeah, so you could just close out the start timer, like
No, but that is yeah. So what you did? Hold on. So scroll over. What did you do actually?
I think if I just concatenated strings together.
But
I see what you're saying. Like if I close the start timer off,
yeah, and then use a semicolon
Yeah.
to start a new
we'll see what
line.
happens here and see if it fails. Oh, hey,
But you could like right click on that and kind of see exactly what it's
mine
doing.
worked too. Mine worked too. Your face. I can advance to the next level.
Did it? Did that work?
Yeah, it worked.
Oh, because you closed it and
Yeah, I just
must-
did string concatenation and an idea.
Yeah,
that-
and then it did an
execute.
automatic semicolon insertion.
All right. Inject the script to pop up alert in context of the app. All right. So we have Groovy Reader 2.0.
Oh,
Even they troll themselves.
I know. Love
it. Sign up.
Okay.
Whatever. You'll be redirected soon. Or not.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's take a look at how that works.
Look at the welcome page. You just sign up and it goes to the next page.
Yeah.
But notice the next equals confirm.
So you might want to look at the Python script. Yeah.
So what does this thing do?
Okay. All right. So it's just
Percentage.
rendering different templates based on.
Inject the pop-up. Okay. All right. So it renders a template based on the file name.
And into the template, it's passing. Okay. So actually, click through it one more time. I bet there's a next.
Right.
Query
There's
string
next. Like,
parameter, yeah.
Yeah. If you get up there, that's what I was saying. It goes like
All
confirm next.
Yep. So there we go. So next is being injected into the template at that first step.
Okay.
So what's that template? Sign up to it.
Okay. Oh, here. href. So if you go here
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, I know what it's. Oh, that's tricky. Yeah.
can we change the link to go to a page that runs JavaScript or something? Like, I don't know. Like,
JavaScript : remember?
no, I don't remember, dude.
Yeah. So in any href link, you never did this. You can do JavaScript : and then it's a JavaScript context.
Then?
Yeah. So try. So click go. No. You have to.
Oh.
You just killed your own query string.
Oh, go. Okay, guys. Need to
Yeah.
refresh it.
Yeah. Right. So that's going to take that and put it in the href.
Is it?
Yeah, click go. Now, well, right click on that and do inspect element, and you'll see what I'm talking about. See that?
Okay.
So now when you click next, so if someone sends you that link, this
Right.
is the type of attack that Seth was talking about earlier. Someone sends you that link, you click next, and now they've hooked into you with cross-site scripting and got Beef project running or something like that.
All right.
This is the last one.
Okay, so gives a clue, location and hash.
Oh,
So we had to make it get a external file. Wouldn't we just change that?
well, if you change it, well, you have to look at what the code would do. What is the application? Oh, I see. It's loading gadget. So depending on what the URL is, it's gonna, yeah.
This will prevent us from loading evil URLs.
Because if it does not start with HTTP or HTTPS, basically.
All right.
So it does give in the hints, like, so basically what it's telling you is to pull in a script that has an alert tag. And in the hints, it kind of shows you, like, you could host your own file, but in the hints, it has an alternate way. I forget what it is. It's like some Google URL on that.
Okay. So you want me to use the hints?
Well, yeah, just because you need the URL, unless you want to host your own file.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. That's not a hint. All right, yeah. If you can't easily host your own evil.js file, you could see if this will help. So, for example, like grab that and pop that into a browser tab.
Oh, because I guess it doesn't need the HTTP.
Well, we'll just pop that into a browser tab, right?
Yeah.
Right, because that will load that file, but let's see what that file even does.
Okay.
So just open up a new browser tab and put that in.
Yeah, I did. I'm bringing it over now.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so it does that. So you see how it has callback equals foo? That's for JSON-P. JSON-P is for old school browsers that don't support cores. And the way it works is you tell it, this is the callback I want you to run once you finish loading. And then and it'll just append that to the end of the script. So if you look at the last line of the script,
No call foo.
yeah, it'll call foo. So yeah, so you can put anything you want in there.
So if you did alert, all right.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Didn't-
Right.
No, it didn't. Yeah. So try doing alert high in here. See what happens. No, it doesn't do it. That's because it's not just a string. You need to provide only a function name, but you can still provide alert. And now it's still an alert, just an empty one.
Okay.
Try it.
Yeah.
You need the parentheses
Well, you don't, because you're just telling it this is the name of a function I want you to.
to. Oh, you're just passing it as a call.
Yeah. Did it work?
No,
It did.
it did not work.
Oh, okay. Why didn't it work? So. Oh, I know why. Okay, this part you got to figure out.
Dude, I'm not gonna figure it out.
Well, think about it. What it's doing. I mean, or you set a breakpoint, right? So in the code,
What code?
for this page. So do inspect element on that page,
Okay.
and then go to sources, and then what was the name of that file? Was this it? Yeah. So I would try the like right around that line 21 or whatever it's doing. It's probably not actually 21 in here. So you see how I'm looking at the target code.
Yeah.
So what file name is it? It's index.html. I think you probably have to go. You can if you're focused.
Frame.
If you're focused on there, you could hit Command O and type index.html. Okay. If you got to be focused on the sources tab though.
All right. And then Command O.
I think Command O or Command P. Yeah, index.html. Let's see. That did not work. Does not have. It might not be named that. Okay. Well, somewhere it's going to be somewhere in there. You know what? You could do Command Shift F and just search for any bit of text that is like that static game dash frame.js.
Dash.
No. See on line 5 above, you have game dash frame.js. I'm just saying search for that text anywhere.
Command Shift F is not working.
Yeah, it is. No, it's working. It's game dash. Wait, what's going on? Hold on, you're not.
Yeah, well, a Command F works, but that's only
It
for
might be
the
Command Option F.
Oh, it might. Yeah, on Mac, it's probably different. Yeah. Okay, there it is. It popped up below. I think you're.
screen should be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Game dash frame. All right, so scroll down. Man, how do you work like this?
I made it smaller. I can make it my big monitor, but
Yeah, so that line 56. Oh no, sorry, not is that what we're looking at? It's probably. Wait, let me see what the target code looks like.
link rel, so it'll be this one.
So yeah, it's that one. Okay, it's that one. So if you scroll in here, we're gonna find that load widgets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, well, hold on. Scroll up. It's probably that code that says this will prevent it. So put a breakpoint line 21, and it didn't try to go. Okay. So what is URL? Hover over URL.
It's that what
Oh.
would you expect of me? Yeah.
All right. Well, if you do google.com, that's going to treat it as a relative URL, right? You need HTTP in order to tell it to go from the root to go to google.com. It's going to assume that if you don't have HTTP, it's going to use https://xssgame.appspot.com level 6 /google.com/JSAPI, which
Right. But once you put HTTP there, shouldn't that one thing catch it?
Yeah, that will catch it. So how would you get past that and have an HTTP?
Use a framework that does this for you.
Come on. Look at that regex.
Mhm.
Look at that regex.
Yeah.
Put a space in front of the H.
But I block it?
What?
I mean, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
You're talking about something I don't have a lot of passion for, so I don't know.
Well, no, but that's just regex, right? You don't need the WW. I don't think that's not part of it. Right. So go ahead.
Yeah.
That.
I mean,
That work?
no.
All right. Well, let's hit it and see what.
Maybe I need to S because the other link has an S.
So is it gonna do a step? Okay, I passed it. There we go. So I think that's the last level.
So it was using a regex to validate.
Right, it's using a regex to validate, and that's a shitty regex. Right? Because that regex just says, well, if this starts with HTTP or HTTPS, then don't do it. Well, there's lots of other things we could do. We put a space in front of the HTTPS.
But if you create like look behinds or whatever using that feature of regex, you can make it so it doesn't. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you could do /s* in front of it, which would be like anything that has any amount of white space followed by HTTP and S. But I wouldn't. Yeah.
But you wouldn't use regex to begin with.
I would not use regex. I would probably find the correct JavaScript function for testing the origin of this.
Which I think is using. Do you use XPath for this? I don't know.
No, XPath is actually if you think about it, XPath is very similar to CSS selectors, so has nothing to do with that. It's not actually. It's not similar. It's a similar use case.
I know you can use it for parsing URLs though. So.
XPath, really?
Yeah.
That's surprising. Because XPath is for navigating around XML documents. It shouldn't even work with HTML, to be honest.
Yeah, I've seen it used that way.
All right. Well, no. So, but I mean, you could probably.
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm confusing it with PHP.
Ah.
Sorry.
No. So what you could do, you could JavaScript has some functions. Like if you really, really wanted to do this and do it in JavaScript, so JavaScript has some functions to build up URLs, right? And you could go ahead and build up a URL with that, and then it'll break, and then check its scheme and check its different pieces. to
Oh, you mean
ensure
just as a string?
Yeah.
that,
No, they have like different models. Let's see, that's something I would be using the language if I need to check to see if it's a URL or whatever.
Yeah.
So you pass it to this construct, and then you can get the different parts out of it, like the
Right.
host name and whether it's HTTP or
Gotcha.
JS and all that.
yeah.
Why?
I think
Because
there's
people smarter than me figured it out.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know. I didn't know that it was built
Yeah.
into the language. I
Well,
thought
what
it
you
was just
do-
like a library thing.
here, JB, open up your console again. I think it's. Yeah, that's what it is. Can you open up your? JB.
What's up?
Oh, can you open up your console again?
It's open.
It's open.
What? Why don't I see it?
Mhm.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at. I had that open. Okay, so type in there. Do u equals new URL, and URL I think is capitalized. Yeah, and then give it the string. Paste your string, right? Yeah. Right. So now, if you open that up, look, you could check the protocol. You could check the
Yeah.
origin, and then
I
you could
didn't
do
even
the
know
yeah.
about that.
You could
Oh,
do
so there's a
u.origin.
constructor built in. Man,
Yeah.
there's still stuff that I'm learning in JavaScript.
Yeah, you could do, and then you could do a check that u.origin equals location.origin.
Refresh this page so we get the very beginning.
Oh, that's super useful.
Yeah, I mean, it's still probably not a thing that you want to. I mean, that's. I cannot think of a way to hack that, because that would actually that will give you. That should give you the same exact abilities that you have anyway by manipulating the URL. So I can't think of a way to hack that, but
But like, do you think that Express uses that for routing, like the URL object?
well, this is all entirely in the client side.
Like, only in the
Entirely on the-
Oh, okay. Well, what? So you're saying the URL constructor does not work in a Node environment?
Oh, I see what you're saying. In Node, it might.
They
It
have
would
something
have it-
like that.
Yeah,
I was
it would
wondering.
have its own implementation if it does. It might not be a global thing that's just available.
Hmm.
It might have to be. It's probably like a module you have to pull in.
Hmm.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Cool. What's the password? Username and password? What's that about?
That's
But
for basic
basic
authentication.
Okay.
What for? Oh yeah. Because that's part of the URL. That's not often
Yeah.
used where you
You
do.
could do.
Well, toggle that and see what the other options are that comes back to you.
Can't you do like it'd be like
Yeah.
JB?
Colon blah at.
Yeah, it's JB.
I think it's colon.
It's colon, right? And then oh, shit.
What is the JB colon?
So, my username,
yeah,
password.
Oh yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Is it
at,
like that?
I think, and
There you go.
yeah. So you see that's it's just nobody uses that anymore. But
I see.
that was technically part of the URL spec.
I've seen
Yeah.
people use it
RFC.
for like if you have services you're communicating with
Yeah,
and you want to secure them with basic authentication.
Ah.
You can put that, and then you have a URL as your one single environment variable that you swap back and forth
And
instead of
I
having three.
I could see how that could be like useful, like to secure an API easily. I don't know.
well,
Internal APIs or something.
Yeah. And
I don't. I would assume it's encoded by HTTPS, but I don't know.
well, you would think it's HTTPS. Like, isn't the URL string all fully?
The
If
domain
part of
is
a GET, it's not going to be encrypted.
the domain is not encrypted because that's how it knows how to get to that computer. It needs to know the domain because otherwise, where would it go? Where would it go?
Oh yeah, that's true.
But I assume that portion of it is encrypted. Can you click the triangle to expand the URL object? Yeah, that's true. So all that stuff is available on there. Search params. So if you had question mark equals whatever, you put ports, protocols,
It'll okay, so you don't have to parse it as a string and then be like.
No,
I
It
mean,
looks like it doesn't have anything past the hash, though.
it wouldn't. That's actually not technically.
Yeah,
So
that's
that
bad, but
yeah.
wouldn't it be available on the?
Well, no, yes, it will. See the hash up above. The hash is the first key.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
but
This is a pretty good answer.
Yeah.
Associated with whether it secures or not. You're basically saying that it is secure, but it probably not the best.
right.
Which makes sense. And generally, when I've seen it used, it's a lot more
Mhm.
like external apps can't have access to these servers, so they're inside their own. I forgot the term for it. What would you call it? Like not the DMZ, but like just the internal server mapping or whatever. And it's sort of an easy added security to those because it's already like, look, they have to get into our system to even see these servers, but it's
Yeah.
a cheap way to add some basic.
I don't think they don't have it on here, but like also the point that it would then be in the server logs in plain text.
Right.
Yeah, the point about the hash, it's I think lots of people don't know, is the hash actually never leaves the browser. So you do have access to it, but you can't on the server check what the hash was.
You say it's in server logs, but I bet this stuff gets filtered out
By
for
what?
a decent framework.
You mean by a decent web server log? By who?
No, I'm thinking. I guess you're looking at more from the log from, I guess, like Apache or something, not a.
Yeah, that level.
Your comments about the hash being client only, I tweeted something I saw a couple weeks ago with a something akin to LastPass, where they were storing the key and the hash on the client.
Ooh. Well, that's.
So the JavaScript was accessing it client side, but the key was never being transmitted.
I guess that's one very weird way to do it.
It's highly overloaded in its context, but it seemed to work.
Yeah. No, that'll work because it never gets sent to the server.
that's good to know.
It surprised me before, and I was like, "Wait, what?" But yeah.
I suppose that's the reason why frameworks like Angular kind of defaulted to that, right?
Well, the reason they defaulted to that was because because the API for using JavaScript to modify the URL didn't exist at the time.
Okay.
At least they weren't super prevalent. They do now, and I think by default you wouldn't use that. The nice thing about that, so like, if for example, you're doing, you have a URL /products, whatever. If you have a URL hashtag products, that means your server only needs to be worried about loading up the initial page, because as far as it knows, it only has index.html requested. But if you have /products, you have to tell it, okay, also when someone asks for /products, then you have to still load index.html because it's going to be handled on the client side. I actually have an app like where I have Angular routing working that way, and when the application starts, I just wrote some code that will scan all of its own code files, JavaScript files, for the pattern that you use to set up an Angular route, and then auto configure the server-side routing based on that, which works great, except for when you minify it or bundle stuff, and then it breaks forever. So I need to figure out a way around that.
Yeah, how's your Angular 2 Odyssey going?
Oh, I mean, I
Have you finished converting all your Angular 1 modules to Angular 2 modules?
I'm not converting to Angular 2. I actually gave our CEO the estimate of like, hey, this is how long it would take to convert to Angular 2, and here are the reasons to do it. And he said, nah, just don't bother, which is fine by me. Bringing it up to Angular 5.star, and I have switched to JSPM, so I'm using modules. So this point, updating to Angular 2 wouldn't be that bad. But yeah, like I said, like the really, really annoying thing with that Angular 2 docs, like it's it's much easier if you already are using modules, JavaScript modules, and then they don't give any further like guidance on that. It's like, well, yeah, obviously, that's the hard part. It's converting your shitty Angular app into something that uses JavaScript modules. But I did actually do that, so I have,
Bad timing for Angular.
hey, Angular's the worst. But anyway, so cross-site scripting. That's
Good to know.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
well, yeah, and I mean, like, because you can see some of that stuff in there, like they were running through templates and stuff like that. They just weren't catching all the various edge cases, right? Like it's not like they weren't using a templating system; they were just using it incorrectly.
So can I ask some Angular 1 questions?
Sure.
Yeah. So the client I'm working with, it's kind of greenfield work, and they're suggesting technologies, and they suggested Angular as kind of the framework for the front end. And I was kind of diving into React a bit, looking at that and comparing that to Angular 2. They're looking at Angular 1 though. I'm just wondering whether that's actually a good choice, or if there's maybe something better out there.
I personally would never recommend Angular 1 at this point.
Yeah.
I for a greenfield project.
Yeah, I agree. I like Angular 1. It depends if you have like a whole team that's all if you have a team of people that are good at Angular 1, then I can almost see like, okay, that's fine. But if it's like, hey, we're gonna bring on a whole new team and they had to learn this whole new project, I don't know why you would pick Angular 1 when it clearly has a shelf life.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily pick Angular 2. I'm still very cautious of that, but I would look maybe at Aurelia, maybe even Ember. React's fine. I like React.
So Aurelia, I liked Aurelia, but I think Sean Wildermuth had the best response to it, which is like, look, it's built by Rob Eisenberg, and what does Rob Eisenberg do? He builds frameworks, so it's going to have a shelf life of 2 or 3 frameworks because he's going to move on.
Well, if you want to be on the latest and greatest, Electro just came out. Walmart finally giving back to the world.
True. Wait, hold on. Just go ahead. Wait, you mean that it's going to be a shelf life because Rob Eisenberg will move on to something?
Move on. If history have proven anything.
Wait, what do you mean? He did a Caliburn Micro, which is still very much kicking. And then he did Durandal, which Durandal is just a predecessor to Aurelia. They're closely linked. It's the same community.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, I like the idea of it because it's like you can recommend it to a client and be like, hey, and there's also this company that will provide like ongoing support if you want, right? Which is not something you get with Angular at all.
For Aurelia?
For Aurelia, yeah,
Really?
right? Like you can get like that's how they make, like that's his business.
That's his business. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that Sean Wildermuth thing is accurate because I said Durandal's still very much kicking. It's the same community as the Aurelia community. I know people in that community, and they're like Jed, who we had come on and talk about Aurelia. He got started in Durandal, and he's still at
Aurelia at this point for like a mission critical. It's just to me.
Over what?
Like, I mean, just when I'm in the Aurelia Reddit and there's problems with like TypeScript support, you will just find yourself, I mean, over what? Over like over your average like React stack.
Okay. Well, yeah. But the problem with the React is that it's not a framework. So if someone
stack, so React plus Phoenix plus
React plus make a bunch of choices.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't feel up to making a bunch of choices and defending them, then they do want a framework. And I think React is still looking a little bit. Yeah, I think React is unfortunately still a little. It's still in search of something that fills that role.
Doesn't Facebook have their own like React framework? Like, and I swear I kept seeing it pop up, and then nobody, because people who do React like apparently
Well, I think
aren't
that's
super into it, but like you can like Facebook actually has their whole like recommendation system for server-side rendering and testing and stuff.
no, they do, but like I think a lot of the problem with that is that React, the way it's meant to be used, right, is you're supposed to create build your own framework for it, but that kind of assumes a certain level of seniority, and you need something to provide recommendations for people, and just saying pick React and Redux and follow tutorials is not enough because there's still plenty of gaps left by that.
Can you tell me how this app called, if you look up facebook.github.io/relay, how does this not fit what you're describing?
No, Relay does a little bit. Relay has some back end assumptions, like that you have to use CouchDB. But Relay, I suspect, does fit that. And that's the one I'm keeping my eye on most as possible for the future. Yeah. You know you're still sharing your screen, Jimmy, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm just, as y'all talk, I'm hacking on some stuff. Just something I want to add to our thing because we're talking about Angular 2 and stuff.
Yeah.
Is I think I'm calling it Project Hermes off of Futurama, where we model out a timesheet application and we fill in gaps with implementing it with different frameworks, front ends and back ends. Because I'm the same way. I was like, I would love to do an Angular 2 app.
There's
but I'm
a new
I
framework called Electrode. Have you guys seen it? Like someone just posted it in the Operations Park Slack channel. It's by Walmart Labs. It's a React Node thing.
I've looked through it before, but
did you look at that?
Not very deeply. I mean, the fact that it's front end, back end, I'm not as interested in that.
Oh.
I mean, if I'm going to do something that dictates a back end, why not Meteor?
Right. Okay.
What about Apollo? I was talking earlier with some friends about that.
Isn't Apollo an alternative to GraphQL or something like that?
Yeah, like it's just.
Yeah. All right.
So you said that Electra was posted somewhere? I've been trying to find it, but it's pretty.
Yeah, go to github.com/Walmart/Lab/Electrode. But if you just Google like Walmart Electrode, you'll find they have it's just electrode.io is there.
It's terribly confusing because Electron is a different thing.
I know. It's a totally different thing, even though they're still in the JavaScript ecosystem.
I go to electra.io and
Electrode.io.
Electrode. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
So if you are like the architect at a company like Walmart, a Walmart-esque company, might be interested.
Yeah. But also, so I mean, like in your situation, I mean, really, I guess Angular 2 is worth looking at. You still have to make a lot of decisions, like how exactly to do modules. Like, okay, well, you have to choose Webpack and you have to set it up, and you still have to do a lot of reading on it. Ember is probably slightly better, but will leave you in a similar situation of doing a whole lot of reading. Yeah.
It sounds like there's no simple,
Angular is much worse though. Angular, you have to do a bunch of reading, a bunch of stuff isn't consistent, and you still have to assemble like all of your own stack besides just the very simple front end stuff.
Yeah.
Angular, yeah. I don't think Angular 2 fixed all those problems, but it fixed some problems.
So what I heard you say is your kind of preference is probably Ember.
No. My own preference is React, but I have those opinions, right? I actually wrote a blog post about this.
Please share.
Yeah.
You can DM me if you want.
Well, here I'll share it right here, right my screen. Yeah. So it's why you don't get React. This is Imad posted this about how he didn't like React recently, and kind of talking through what React is. And I mean, I don't think I talk about those recommendations here, but I do think it kind of explains why I'm bullish on React, but I don't necessarily recommend it for someone that's like, look, I just want something that'll tell me what to do.
Yeah, but you don't have if you want something that tells you what to do, what do you choose?
Ember is
Okay.
fine. I think React will have something that comes along, and have an eye on Relay, but I don't know. The specific backend requirement is difficult. Oh, by the way, I wrote this.
If you're gonna do Ember, you need to do like just know it's gonna affect everything that you do. Like you should follow everything they say.
So would everything.
Yeah, just
So
don't even like. You're like, oh, I want to make my model return this. No, just do what we tell you to.
Yeah, JB's actually done a lot of Ember, but
I've done every single framework. I don't think there's a framework out there I have, except that Electro thing. I haven't done Electro, but
Because it just came into alpha,
yeah, so haven't done
there's
that.
still time.
And I haven't built an Aurelia yet, even though that looked pretty interesting. And I didn't do Durandal either. Of course.
what about Cycle.js?
No, I did look at it though, but I didn't do it.
Look at that.
Elm would be the one I like. Hey, you can start. What are you gonna do? If you're like JB, we build the next app. What you're gonna be doing? I wouldn't even have a spa. Like it would be Phoenix, and then
Plus
server
Elm.
side rendering.
That's
and
pretty
then
awesome.
Elm
I
for
was
any
looking at
page that had
that.
complex stuff.
That's sweet. Just Elm and just totally functional stack.
And really, yeah, if you're
It'd be
looking
a
there, it'd be
cool
like
learning experience.
20% Elm. Like if you had any JavaScript, it'd be 80% vanilla JavaScript.
Mhm.
Because I think we've gone so far on the side of like, oh, we have to have a spa, and then what people do with the spa is like forms and list some tables and some stuff, and you're like,
Just use forms.
yeah, like server side rendering is great here. Like you're good. You don't need all this complexity. And then when you do, and generally when they have this complexity, it's like 1 or 2 pages. And I think if you grow from there, what you do is, if it's a greenfield, it depends on the different type of greenfields. Because if you're a big company and you're at a 2-year project greenfield, that's completely different than a startup scenario. And so I generally prefer now server-side rendering, because you have great tests, you can go really fast, and then you add your JavaScript, because I think most people forget that vanilla JavaScript is pretty darn powerful, and you can do a lot of cool things.
New URL.
Like you can, new URL. We didn't even know it was there. Yeah, hey, well, there you go. Or like they think like, oh, I need to have this button animate. Well, we've been animating buttons way before we had single page apps. And the only single page apps, I'm trying to think, like Backbone made it popular, but I'm trying to think what the driving force for a lot of that stuff is. Because one of them, they're like, oh, you need this user experience. And I haven't had that scenario where like it's really that bad. Because just take a look, it's like, oh yeah, like Gmail. Like, well, Gmail isn't run on Angular. Some of these great apps that you look to, they're not using single page app.
No, Google doesn't use Angular. That would be crazy.
Yeah, why would they
Why would they use that nonsense?
Get out of here.
I think Google doesn't know how to do the single page app. Like they transitioned YouTube over to it, and it's just a horrible experience.
Yeah. All right. I think we're out of time.
All right.
So is this a weekly thing, George?
Yeah, every single week at Tuesday this time, 12:30 Central.
You share the channel, or is it always a hangout?
It's so
we have a Slack.
Yeah, there's a virtual brown bag Slack. This is it's open to anyone. If you go to virtual brown bag, what is it, JB? It's
virtualbrownbag.com. I think it's still going on, right?
Yeah.
I haven't updated the page. I need to change it to point to the YouTube page.
Yeah.
We're on the YouTubes, but there's a Slack.
Yeah, just update. We're live streaming to YouTube.
You know what? I'll update this page, update the URL and stuff, and get us to use the YouTube page.
But join the Slack through there. In that Slack, we always post the link to join.
So this is the slack.virtualbrownbag.com.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's Guy Owl.
Yeah,
I think we have to make certain rules so that we can actually make the domain point to there. But I think we should be good. I think previously is like actually have like meetings that they've recorded.
All right. I'm gonna jump.
All right, guys.
Bye, guys.
Later.